Hello, and thank you for tuning in to this episode of Moore's October Rants. Today's episode is titled, Depending on Others. Look, we've all been there. Times when you depend on someone else and end up disappointed. It's one of those tough life lessons. The truth is, when you rely on other people, at some point, you're bound to get let down. Not because people are bad or unreliable in general, but because life just throws curveballs. And guess what? People miss. Sometimes they forget, flake, or just can't come through. I've got a perfect example for you. Let's say you head to a concert in the city. You're hyped, you grab a taxi to get there, and you have a friend or family member who promises to pick you up afterward. You're depending on them. But then something happens. Maybe they get stuck, maybe they bail, or maybe they just plain forget. Now you're stuck 70 miles from home, and you're screwed. This is the exact kind of situation I'm talking about. You depended on someone, and now you're left figuring out how to get home. And honestly, it sucks, but it happens more than we like to admit. We want to think that we can rely on people, but sometimes the universe has other plans. The point is, you can't always depend on others. It's great to have people in your life you trust, but eventually, someone's going to let you down, and you're going to feel it. Hard. That's why it's so important to rely on yourself. At the end of the day, there's a reason the saying exists. If you want something done right, do it yourself. You'll never let yourself down the way someone else might. And you know that when you're in control, things get done. But the best part? When you're self-reliant, you have the power to navigate when things go sideways. I know, it sounds harsh. Some of you might be thinking, but I've never been let down. First off, congratulations. But trust me, it's coming. And when it does, it's gonna sting. It's even kind of funny when you see other people get bent out of shape because they really didn't expect it. Like, come on, didn't you see this coming? People act surprised when someone bails on them, but really, it's part of life. Yet they go on, completely unprepared, like they had no idea this was even a possibility. Listen, I'm not saying don't trust anyone. That's not the point. Of course, it's fine to rely on people sometimes, but here's the kicker. You always need a backup plan. If you're counting on someone to give you a ride, make sure you have a plan B. Maybe another friend, maybe enough cash for an Uber, something. Anything. Because if you don't have that safety net, you're just setting yourself up to be stranded. And no one likes being stranded. It amazes me how often I see people relying on others without a backup plan. It's like watching a train wreck you can't stop. You want to help, but at the same time, they're just not listening. You can tell them what they need to hear, but they'll ignore it. And then, boom, they get let down. And you're left thinking, I told you this would happen. But they just don't listen. There's a saying I love, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You can show someone what's right in front of them, what they need to do to avoid disappointment. But until they see it for themselves, they're not going to act. It's frustrating, especially when you care about them and just want them to avoid getting screwed over. But sometimes people have to learn the hard way. Anyway, that's my rant for today. Thank you for listening. I hope you got something out of this, and hopefully, next time you're depending on someone, you'll remember to have a backup plan. Because trust me, you don't want to be caught off guard. Signing off from Moore's October Rants. Have a good rest of your day, evening, night, or whenever you're listening to this. Take care.